Magpul Pmags for the Glock. Let's check it out. Guys, I'm a huge Glock fan. Many of you know it. I've owned Glocks for years. I have a lot of different models of Glocks. When I heard that Magpul was introducing the PMAG for the Glock 17, I was really excited because I knew the price would be right and the quality would be there. You know, there's a lot of aftermarket mags out there, and I will not buy them because I've seen so many problems with them. And you know, knowing though that Magpul is standing behind it, it's going to be a great product. Magpul's been making quality AR-15 magazines for a long time. But one of the great things that Magpul's done just recently is to release their Glock magazines. These fit the 9mm Glock pistols, the Model 17 and the Model 19. Of course, the Model 17s will fit lower frame pistols such as the 19 and the 26. We're going to take a look at some of the intricacies of this magazine system. One of the things though that many of you already know is that originally when Magpul released these magazines, they had a recall back in April, and that had been fixed, remedied. Really, it wasn't the 17 magazines working in the 17, it was 17 magazines working in the 19 and the 26, which there were some issues with the geometry. They fixed it and now they've re-released it. But there's a couple of really cool things about these magazines, but one of the biggest is the price. PMAG Glock magazines retail for $15.99. So that's already about a $10 difference. Now you can find prices differently, of course, for the Glock factory magazines. But really we're looking at about a $10 difference per magazine. There are some big differences between the two aside from price. Well, one thing is you can see the metal right here, and then if you look right here at the metal feed lips. The PMAG is a solid polymer construction. Now, of course, with the standard AR-15 PMAGs, that has not been a problem, or with the AK magazines, having just a full polymer frame. But one of the things that does give it added strength with the OEM mag is the metal, the sleeve that fits all the way down on the inside of the frame. And one of the things you'll notice though is that Magpul did include the cuts here for the Ambi mag release. That's available for the Gen 4. You know, you can switch your Gen 4 mag release if you're a left-handed shooter. Here we have the old style Gen 3 mags, and of course there is no cutout, and this is a standard Glock magazine. Also on the back of the Magpul magazine there are no witness holes, which there are of course with the Glock, and you can see the metal insert that comes through. With the PMAG they do have holes, witness holes here and on the other side, just to show that you have full capacity. Now with the Magpul mag, the follower is a high vis follower. This orange, it's a little bit different in cut from your standard Glock magazine, but the geometry is a little different on the PMAG than from the standard OEM magazine. One of the big things though that I really like, and a huge advantage other than price with the PMAG, is that it's really easy to remove your base plate. If you've ever removed a Glock base plate, you know what a nightmare it can be without the right tools. With the PMAG, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. Right here's a little button, and of course you can take a 9mm round, just push it, depress it down, and then just pull your base plate right off. And I mean, that is really super simple. It does have a stainless steel spring, and it is captured. Your floor plate, of course, and your follower are captured with the spring. So if you ever need to pull that off, you don't have to worry about these pieces flying out. With your standard Glock magazine, you have to depress here, and I've done all kind of different things to get this to work, but it's a real bear pushing down on this little tab and then pushing the body of your magazine down, which can damage the little lips right here. There's a little detent that comes out and captures the floor plate. Brownell sells this little tool. It's really easy, and I highly recommend it if you want to change out your Glock mags and do any kind of maintenance. And you just squeeze down, and what that does, that allows for the body to squeeze. Then you take a small punch, push down, and you can move your base plate forward. Really, even though that's even more difficult, doing it without this tool is super difficult. Of course, your floor plate is not captured, it pulls right off. But the magazine follower is captured. Of course, reassembling your standard Glock magazine does not require the tool. You can just push your plate right over. But with your Magpul mag, just slide it in, push down the follower, return your base plate. Sometimes it can get a little catch right there, but there you go. This right here in itself is just a really great design that I really wish that Glock would fit into their guns. Now, this is not adaptable to the factory magazine. But one of the cool things that Magpul's already done is they've released an overmolded base plate. That has a rubber overmold. It makes it really easy to grab and to pull out of your gun. Very similar to the original Magpul pulls that you can put on your AR-15 mags, which that's how Magpul got their start. One of the other things that I want to show is the markings here. It has the matrix for being able to identify your magazines. And here I've gone to the liberty of making this my #1 magazine for my Magpul mag. And it makes it really nice and crisp, much better than doing this on the standard factory Glock mag, which does wear off over time. Another really cool feature that Magpul incorporated are these ribs that go along the base plate or the floor plate. You can grab hold of this, and it allows you to really get a good solid grip on your base plate when you're either stripping it from your magazine or you're pulling it out of a carrier. One of the cool things though also about the Magpul mag is they are drop free, whether they're loaded or unloaded. Now the Magpul mag being all polymer, it's definitely lighter. You can feel how light it is. We're going to go ahead and put it on our scale. 1.7 ounces with the steel insert of the factory Glock magazine, 2.7. So we have a total ounce difference between the two. The surface itself is a little different. With the original factory mag, it's a little bit more of a plastic feel to it, that soft plastic polymer. With the PMAG, it's gone a little bit more rigid. In fact, they've made it that way just to be a little stronger and to hold up the strength because they don't have the insert here. Now, to say that the PMAG is as tough and durable as your standard Glock factory mag, you do have your insert here, which is definitely going to add to some super strength. But, you know, Glock has proven itself with the use of polymer, and Magpul has proven it to be a very strong system. And so we're going to do a few tests on this. I've seen guys that have shot through the magazines and, you know, hit them with a hammer and a bunch of other things. I'm not necessarily going to do that, but we are going to go through some tests just to see how tough these little magazines are. Now, we tried to keep the durability testing down to real-world conditions. One thing is, you know, you drop your magazine to range and people are stepping on it. You know, that is one thing that can happen and does happen quite often. Dropping it on cement. Here we got a little bit of just some scuff, but no big deal. Nothing chipped, nothing cracked. Just on the very edge, and this is with a fully loaded magazine. And it can be driven over by a truck. And I thought that would really test the limits of the durability with a magazine loaded and with a magazine unloaded. Here's the empty PMAG. No deformation, nothing. I mean, it didn't really even scratch it up. Here's the full one. Same thing, no swelling, no cracking at the seams. Looks great. Now to test standard function of the magazines, we want to use all three of the different Glock sizes. The 17, the 19, and the 26. We didn't use the 34, of course it's exactly the same as the 17. We interchange these magazines around, just checking for reliability, durability, and function, and they function flawlessly. Now, as far as ease of loading and any difference, we're gonna load this PMAG and just see how easy it is to get to full capacity. Now we're at 15 rounds. These last two, typically, even with the Glock factory mags, are fairly difficult to load in. There we go. And that's the first time this magazine's been loaded. So that's definitely a good sign that it was easy to go ahead and load in. Definitely with the spring compressing, it was getting a little bit more difficult, but very doable. And I want to thank HPR for supplying the ammo. It really helps with cost and being able to do a lot of thorough testing. You know, we can do tests with a couple of boxes of ammo, but when you really get into testing, having enough ammo to really do the job is important, and it can be very expensive. The markings on the PMAG are very clean, and as you see, it's got PMAG 17, GL9. One of the things about this that's different than most of your Glock factory mags is these are made in the USA. We ran 300 rounds through these magazines using the Glock 17, 19, and 26, mixed and matched the two 19 and 17 mags in different ones, and just had a great field day. I mean, it was a lot of fun here at the range, no malfunctions, and honestly, I was expecting that. Just a great shooting little magazine for the money. We will definitely be doing some more tests on these, and if there's anything that comes up, we'll let you know. And of course, typically, you'll find out soon enough. Magpul got behind the little issue with the problem they had, and they're standing behind their products as they always do. And you know, if you have one of those defective PMAGs, Magpul will replace it, and typically through where you bought it from. So, you know, take those back to your dealer if you're having any kind of issues. If you're using the 17, you shouldn't really have any issues. But honestly, I would send it back because you never know when you may get a 19 or a 26 and need those mags for that gun. The Magpul Pmags for the Glock 17 and 19, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. You will be able to use the Glock. You will be able to use the Magpul Mags. Jeez.